Let's just all take a moment to really appreciate how realistic in some ways this chapter was of Boku no Hero Academia. Best mom award, I usually would say would go to Bakugo's mom, but I gotta give it to Izuku's mom. I'm not usually a big fan of overbearing parents that are kind of annoying and stop the progression of the plot. I'm not usually a big fan of that. I'm not. I'll be the first to admit it. But I gotta admit, I will admit that when it came to the parents in this chapter, I really appreciated it. It added more of a realistic element to the actual series. Because there's a lot of shonen I've read over many years now, and I think many of us can agree. If you've read a lot of shonen, especially battle-orientated shonen, usually the parents are out of the picture. They're completely out of the picture. I mean, that's usually how it is. And if the parents are in the picture, they're very irresponsible. For instance, they don't really act like how a traditional parent would. And this is very funny because just recently, if you were aware, most likely majority of you are, there was an article between Ashita and Togashi, the writer of Tokyo Ghoul and the writer of Hunter x Hunter. And there was a certain part of this article that talked about how parents get in the way, and Togashi actually stated he doesn't like parents in his story because it feels like the plot just stops. It completely stops plot progression, and that's why he kind of avoids adding in parents. And that's kind of why he made, the entire goal of Gon to hunt down his parent, and why his parent was so irresponsible is because, parents were always in the way. That's what Togashi said. And Ashita actually agreed as well, and if you look at the story elements of Tokyo Ghoul, you know for a fact that also plays true to that as well, how parents are usually out of the picture. So it's really cool how an article just recently talks about parents and how they're usually in the way. We get to see a chapter from a manga that's very popular, now introducing parents and showing how they could be actually beneficial to the story. It's very ironic, it's funny, and also it just makes me appreciate the mangaka of Boku no Hero Academia so much more, because for one, I understand where Togashi and Ishida is coming from, how parents can completely stop plot progression because parents are too overbearing, and they want the child to be always safe, and they won't let their child, do what they want. And that's kind of the situation we're here in, or we're currently seeing in this chapter. But in a way, it's a little bit different when you take a moment to actually factor in everything that has happened in Boku no Hero Academia. So let's dive into that. So Izuku's mom, she says that she was very happy. Very happy when he got his quirk ability. He was able to go to the university of his choice and live out his dream to be a hero. She was very happy. And at the same time, she was very sad because she knew he was getting hurt. He was in danger. And it was like a typical mother. It's exactly how a parent would react to a situation like that. And if you really think about it, out of all the characters, the entire cast of characters of Boku no Hero Academia, if there is one character that constantly gets hurt, it would be Izuku. And, I mean, you gotta factor in, he just recently got his quirk ability, and we know he can't completely control his quirk ability. We know for a fact that when he tries to fight, he breaks his arm, he breaks his fingers, he breaks his legs. It doesn't matter. He always breaks something when he uses his abilities. And so it goes to show you how much he gets hurt every so often. And his mother is very aware of how much he's getting hurt. And because of this, she's really worried. And it makes a lot of sense because not a lot of the other students really get damaged when they use their abilities. Bakugo doesn't, Ochiko doesn't, Tsuyu doesn't, Ida really doesn't, besides the Stain Arc. I mean, overall, the only character that really gets hurt is Izuku. And it makes so much sense when the mother brings it up. Like, I respect him wanting to do what he wants to do, but he gets so hurt all the time, and I personally don't trust the system to keep him safe. And I can respect that. I honestly can respect that in the way she's coming from. It's like a true parent, how a mother really would react. And it adds a really interesting situation here on the table, and I wonder exactly how the mangaka will handle it, because All Might is there. He's sitting at the table, and he's trying to convince Izuku's parent that he wants Izuku to stay at a dorm, and then All Might's going to be training Izuku and building up that, one for all inside of his body to where he actually can fight Shigaraki later on down the road. And I believe the way it's going, the way, the actual writing is going in this, chapter, All Might is probably setting up for revealing the truth about Izuku. Probably letting Izuku's mother know how Izuku got his quirk ability. For instance, he got his quirk ability thanks to All Might passing it down to him. And if you know, the mother does find out about this, I'm willing to bet in a way that might not help, because that would actually make the mother hate All Might or dislike him even more for putting, you know, Izuku in danger. Giving this, you know, ability to Izuku and making him constantly in danger to where he gets hurt. I could see where Izuku's mom could be very upset with All Might if, you know, he did reveal that. But that's not just the case here, though. I also like the scenes and the panels in this chapter that reflect the different emotions going inside the head of the mother. For instance, how she was happy, how she was sad, how she, you know, just let herself, you know, change over time, how we know her character appearance changed over time because of, you know, old age. It's just years of, you know, I guess being depressed and upset for her son. We just see how she changed. And it's really crazy when you see these differences between her character and how she reflects on it, how it constantly bugs her every single day. And I love that. I really love that about this chapter. It was definitely a great moment, and it definitely adds an interesting dynamic to the series, because can the mangaka do something that even Togashi and Ishida avoid themselves? Because look, Togashi and Ishida avoid this exact situation for a reason. They avoid it because it completely stops the plot. And I wonder if this mangaka can overcome that, become even better. It's honestly food for thought. Now, enough of that. Let's talk about the other mom of this chapter. Bakugo's mother. Bakugo's mother. Holy shit. Now we know where Bakugo got it from. We now know exactly why he acts like he does. His mother... I was laughing my ass off when she says he was a weak little shit. I gotta be honest here. I was laughing so hard when you see Bakugo's mother just yelling at Bakugo, say, "You weak little shit, you getting kidnapped and all that." And I'm like, yo! That shit was so good. It was really freaking good. Probably one of my favorite moments of this chapter, besides, you know, the really good, you know, drama and stuff building up. When it came to comedy, that was probably one of my favorite, you know, scenes of the chapter. That was just so freaking good. And then, also, we have it to where other, you know, parents, we get to see the other parents and stuff, and it really adds, once again, like I want to kind of emphasize, a realistic feeling to the chapter. And I feel like that's why I love Boku no Hero Academia so much. It's because the mangaka is not afraid to make it feel realistic. Make it, you know, kind of settle down, slow down, give us, you know, this slice of life tone to it that we normally don't see from shonen. Normally in shonen, you constantly see training, you constantly see fighting, you see some dialogue and exposition for the next arc, and that's about it. That's usually how it is. And maybe every so often you'll get one chapter that's just down to earth, but it's very rare and few in between. But when it comes to Boku no Hero Academia, the mangaka knows how to do it, and I love that. I appreciate that so much. I really appreciate what we've gotten in this chapter, and I know many might not like this chapter, but I personally enjoyed it. So, another thing to actually bring up when it came to the argument that All Might's probably going to say to the mother is that he's probably going to say that your son, since he has my ability inside of him, he's probably going to be hunted down by, you know, villains. And he also is going to be hunted down by Shigaraki, which is going to try to kill him. Because Shigaraki knows where Izuku is. So we already know that. Shigaraki can easily find Izuku. He knows about Izuku. So Izuku is a big-ass target for Shigaraki to take down. So it's not safe for Izuku to be there. It's not. Not at all. It's not safe for his mother. It's not safe for himself. And so he needs to get out of there before Shigaraki finally gets over there and probably starts some shit with Izuku's family. So that's another point I wanted to mention. So overall, the chapter, I mean, it was a good chapter. I mean, it had a really good focus on the teacher situation of Aizawa and All Might's relationship as well, seeing the relationship, and I like that too. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.